right. It's a Tuesday here on the beautiful west side of San Antonio.
That's right.
Coming to you live from the Marbach area.
Yeah, not only will the west side be represented, but also the northeast side, because it's Tuesdays with Teague.
Yep, Tuesdays with Teague. Carolina will be joining us shortly. And we are streaming live audio on the website. So if you guys can't listen to us via YouTube Live, or YouTube, should I say YouTube, as we're doing the live stream, you can always listen to us on the go. Pull up the website, Alamo City Podcastnetwork.com. Go ahead and turn on the Bluetooth, connect it to your car, to your headphones, hit play, and listen to us.
Baddie Brackets are back.
I saw. I retweeted them, by the way. And then, of course, the Spurs do what they do best.
Man, I'm struggling today. I'm tired.
I'm tired, too. I'm feeling it. But aren't you going to be leaving? Is it this week or next week?
Next week.
Next week, okay. How many days?
I'll be in Vegas 3 full days.
3 full days. Okay, so starting on Wednesday?
I get there Wednesday night, so I'll be there Wednesday night, all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday. I leave like late Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
But if I'm actually doing well, you know, I don't have to be at work till Monday. So if I'm doing well the first couple of days, I might just push back the flight.
There you go.
Here comes the church music. What's going on, sports and pop culture fans? My name's Mike Jimenez, and this is the Alamo City Sportscast, coming at you from the Alamo City, San Antonio, Texas, west side represented, but also the northeast side will be represented today too, because it is Tuesdays with Teague. We will have Carolina Teague with us momentarily. Joe Garcia producing today's show. Dude, I got to tell you, man, we have a lot to get into today. Lots of sports topics, lots of pop culture topics as well. But before we get into that, dude, I am just winded right now.
Were you running?
Well, first of all, I've been working out a lot. I was at the gym yesterday. It is spring break, apparently, because I went to Planet Fitness yesterday, and it was more crowded than New Year's Day. Every single machine, every single treadmill, everything was taken last night. I managed to get a workout in somehow, some way. Did a 3.5-mile walk as well. Did 5 miles the day before that. So trying to get back into it, trying to get into the, summer's coming around the corner, man. I got to lose a little bit more weight. I am down 15 pounds since I've lost 15 pounds in the last 15 months.
So it's your hot girl summer coming up.
Hot girl summer, effing cute Mike summer. I really want to get down. God. I want to get down, say, 15 more pounds, and I'd be like happy. I'd be ecstatic,
man, bro. Just as long as you don't walk around in no Speedo, man.
No, dude, not. I'm not European at all, but man, you could be part of the show if you want to be part of our YouTube stream. We're exclusive on YouTube right now. We get going around 10:15. Go for about an hour, 15, hour and a half, but it's not dated. So if you're listening to this on a podcast or you're calling us up later on in the day, we're not going to date the content. We're going to make it so that you can enjoy it as though you were listening or watching in real time. Again, Carolina Teague will be with us in a moment. But another reason why I'm winded is because getting up in the morning, I typically wake up 6:30, right? But because of daylight savings this past weekend, it is still dark at 7:30 in the morning. And I'm having a hard time waking up because there's no sunlight out there.
Yeah.
And I had meetings this morning that were supposed to be on at 8 o'clock this morning, some Zooms. Like, no, man, we got to push that back because the sun's not out. Like, sun's not out. I'm not waking up. And it was frustrating this morning, but finally got things going, got revved up. To me, my body's telling me it is 9 o'clock.
It'll change a little bit. I mean, right now it's still, the sun isn't up yet, right?
Yeah.
Because things still have to transition from, fall or winter over to spring, and spring's already here. It's going to take another couple weeks, and then it'll start, the sun will start coming up. Things will be a little bit better for you, but it's kind of rough, especially when you transition from losing that hour's sleep, bro. It takes about a week or two before everybody gets used to it.
It is nice having the sun out a little bit longer at night, though. That's the thing. I like it during the summer. I hate the fact that it's 105 degrees during the summer, but I like the fact that it's still light at like 8:30 p.m., 8:45. That's pretty nice.
Look at Chris Leha. This shit has me laughing, dude. Y'all leave the house when the sun comes out.
You know,
Damn.
like I said, man, why am I waking up when it's dark? I'm not a farmer.
Shout out to Chris Leha, dude. He's the hardest working man here in San Antonio. That motherfucker getting up like 3 in the morning,
Yeah.
4 in the morning.
Now, my commute for work, by the way, is I roll out of bed, I pull the laptop out, and I start talking to people. Although I do have a trip on Friday, so we may need to have a guest host on Friday because I had a client meeting that popped up in Corpus Christi.
Okay.
So a little FYI, this is my last day being 46 years old. I turn 47 tomorrow, so my birthday is tomorrow.
You sure about that?
I'm sure. I've been saying the wrong age the entire year, but
that's
47.
old man problems, Mike. That's old man problems. You forget.
I don't know, man. You know, I just didn't do the math correctly, I guess. But
Carry the one.
you know, trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my birthday. People have reached out to me asking me what I'm going to do, and that's nice. I know tomorrow my family and I are going to have a brisket dinner with my parents and my sisters and whatnot. I'll be spending the day with my kids. We're going to go to SeaWorld and enjoy the day. But when it comes to like, what am I going to do this weekend? That's the thing. I've had a couple of people reach out, say, hey, what are we doing this weekend? So something will go down Saturday night. That's what I'm thinking. Friday night, I might stay out in Corpus because if I'm going to be out there already doing business, I have friends that are out there, so I might just stay. But you know, I saw a question on Twitter, by the way. Speaking of Twitter, I'm at MJ Acquire Taste. Joe is at Two Shots Podcast. We have our Baddie Brackets, or as Fernandez calls them, March Badness.
Hashtag March
coming up.
March Badness.
And the poll is out, and I released the poll about an hour ago, and already people are responding to this. And I kind of pictured you, Joe, opening up several burner Twitter accounts to vote for your girl, BB Rexa. Because the question is, again, March Badness or the Baddie Brackets. We're trying to determine who's the hottest celebrity of 2024, female celebrity, not, you know, what they look like in 1995, but 2024. Okay. There's not going to be the whole, you know, career achievement award. Okay.
Yes.
It's today. So we have out today the brackets for the singers. Now, last week we had the brackets for the old school crushes. We had some for the quirky girls. And a lot of the interesting ones, like Tiffany Amber Thiessen advanced, and, you know, Lacey Chabert, I believe, advanced. And
Zoe Deschanel, that was surprising.
No, she got the axe.
I know,
man.
that was surprising. That's her bracket.
That is her bracket. I mean, but see, that's the thing. If this had been in 2015, us doing this, a new girl was out, she would have advanced easily. But right now, the singers bracket is interesting because in one pod, again, the top 2 vote getters advance to the Sweet 16. One pod, we have Beyonce, we have Shakira, we have Selena Gomez, and a new one that I put in there, SZA.
I saw that.
Now, maybe I should have done Megan Thee Stallion, but they're both kind of same vibe. You know, I like it. So again, that's one pod. Top 2 are going to advance. In the other pod, it's a slugfest between Dua Lipa, Rihanna, Casey Musgraves, and BB Rexa.
I'm going to show the bracket right now and the live results that are going on. So right now we have Dua Lipa that's beating the singers bracket, or leading the singers bracket
for her pod
at 45.5%. She's kind of running away with it. Then you have part 2, you know, and this is going to be the singers bracket. Beyonce, Shakira, Selena, SZA. Shakira is running away with it. And I think I know why. Like I told you, our boys have a certain type here.
Yeah.
They have a certain type.
Again, we either like mature Latinas with big butts or young girls with big boobs. That's basically young white girls with big boobs. That's basically.
Dua Lipa don't have a lot of.
Dua Lipa's different though, man.
Yeah.
Dua Lipa, what is she, Albanian? She's got she's
it don't matter.
She's white, but she's not white. You know, she's ethnic of some sort, right? Some sort of, I gotta figure out what it is, but she has a look to her. She's just extremely sexy. That's what it is.
Yeah, we do have CT on standby now here.
Okay, so again, Baddie Brackets, go to MJ Acquire Taste or Two Shots Podcast. He's retweeted it. We can vote on that. And before we get into it, it's gonna piss me off if I don't know Dua Lipa's ethnicity. Let's see here. Dua Lipa is from the United Kingdom. She's Albanian.
Okay.
Albanian. So she's got some ethnicity in her. We've had people reach out to us saying that they're afraid of the Sweet 16 because they don't want us. They don't want us to. A guy named Mike goes by Mellow Velo on there. Does not want to choose between Dua Lipa and Shakira when the time comes.
God.
Which they might face each other because again the Sweet 16 or I mean the first two rounds are pods, but once we get down to the Sweet 16, it's 1-on-1. Can you imagine when it's Shakira against Salma Hayek?
That's gonna be tough.
Dude, only 3 people are going to vote because no one's going to want to take a stand.
Yeah. So
There's not going to be a both option. We got Carolina Teague on standby. What's going on, CT? It's Tuesdays with Teague. What's going on, girl?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Carolina, you looking like you just woke up, girl.
I kind of have been. Like, I heard y'all talk about daylight savings time, and it has kicked me right in my rear end.
Carolina today, she's just like, you know what? She's wearing her comfy shirt today.
We got to
W shirt.
We got to get Carolina's take on the Baddie Brackets first, because as Mario Cavazos reaches out to us on our YouTube stream, says, you did BB Rexa wrong. Pobrecita did not have a chance against the people in her bracket.
If you would have had a plus size bracket, she would have fit right in there.
Oh my goodness, that was also one that we didn't do.
Yeah,
you know what? She might be resurrected into the plus size bracket. I forgot about that. Maybe I should have kept Megan Thee Stallion in there. But so we're trying to determine the hottest celebrity of 2024 based on today's looks. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the top 2 of each poll advance to the next round. And right now for the singers, who would your top 2 be between Dua Lipa, Rihanna, Casey Musgraves, and BB Rexa?
I did the poll this morning, and I was actually having a really hard time who's gonna win. I picked Rihanna. I voted for Rihanna, and then I voted for, who was the other one? I'm trying to look at the poll.
The other pod is Beyonce, Shakira, Selena Gomez, or SZA.
Okay, so the first one I voted Rihanna, but that's because I didn't know what Dua Lipa looked like, so I didn't Google it. But she's really beautiful. But I'm still gonna go with tried and true Rihanna. And then for the other one, it was tough. I was going between Shakira and Selena Gomez.
Mm-hmm.
And I see Shakira's winning, but I picked Selena Gomez. But I should have picked Shakira. Like,
I know
Shakira.
I think Selena Gomez is a dark horse in all of this. I think that it's going to be fascinating if we get down to a Final Four. I mentioned like a Shakira versus a dude. You know what's going to be happening? There's going to be a pod eventually that's going to have Shakira, J-Lo, Latinas. You know, it's going to be Shakira, J-Lo. It's going to be Selena Gomez, and it's going to be hard to choose at that point. But we're going to get down to it. Dua Lipa, by the way, was an actual model before she became a singer. So a lot of singers then turn to modeling. She was actually a model who then got a singing contract. So I find that to be interesting. She's beautiful. Dua Lipa is just insanely hot. By the way, I saw a video of Dua Lipa yesterday. She was on, oh my God, what's the guy named Seth something? What's like the late night talk show guy from former of SNL? He was talking about Dua Lipa, and he had her on the show. I think it's Seth Meyers, and he had her on the show, and they got drunk, where they went to a bar and they had 6 shots each.
Oh man!
And they did the interview after each shot. It was funny, dude. She seemed to be a happy drunk, and that made her even more attractive for me. But we've got Carolina Teague, CT the Mic Slayer, fresh off another performance there, because of this upcoming Sunday, we've got RCW going on. I was at the 22nd anniversary or birthday last month. Wrestling going to be taking place here in San Antonio. Now, this past weekend, what were you doing this past weekend?
Working.
Dying. Yeah, no, I stayed up so the daylight savings time really killed me. I stayed up for 36 hours straight. I had to be in hair and makeup by 6 o'clock in the morning, meaning I had to get up at 5. Then I had to go all the way to Houston, Texas City for the Reality of Wrestling show, which was totally worth it, by the way. Every single time it was like, oh my God, they knock it out the park. And so we did the show. By the time we wrapped up everything, it was by the time we got out, it was like midnight, 1 o'clock. Then I'm leaving, and it's about to be 2. I'm headed back to San Antonio, and then it's spring forward.
Oh,
so then it tells me, my ETA for time home is like 5:30 in the morning. But then I was like falling asleep and my car was telling me to take a break. So I stopped at Buc-ee's and I got me a breakfast taco. That's how early in the morning it was. It was breakfast time at Buc-ee's by the time I hit Buc-ee's. And then I got in like at 6:15 in the morning. And then I had a meeting on Sunday because I guess people like don't go to church and or in the mornings anymore on Sunday. So I had a work meeting for another project that I'm working on. And that was at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, I might as well just stay up and go to the meeting. I thought the meeting was gonna be like 15 minutes. It was really important. I ended up getting out of that meeting at 1:30. Then I had to go to my sister and my nephew's birthday party. And then after, I just didn't sleep. It was crazy.
Now, I noticed that my girl was wrestling. What's her name again?
Calientita. She made her debut at Reality Wrestling.
There you go. Yes, that's my girl. That's my girl. She stole my heart. And then I found out how old she was, and I got to backtrack. Because
how old is she? I see her all the time, but I never asked her age.
Her Twitter says, her Instagram says she's 19.
Oh, okay, yeah, she's really young, but I didn't know she was 19. So yeah, she's really young.
She's packing, dude. She's packing. She's packing.
She has it going on. She's a wrestler. She's what she does, and she's a spicy Latina. That's literally her whole thing.
Yeah, she's with the Cholas. I like that. I like that. Hey, let's get into some sports talk because the Dallas Cowboys, they're finally on the board. I don't know if you saw that. Everyone was talking about the fact that they hadn't done anything because as of yesterday, 31 teams out of 32 made a move. The only team that did not make a move yesterday in the first day of free agency was the Dallas Cowboys. But today, they re-signed long snapper Trent Sieg to a 1-year deal worth $1.2 million. That is their first move. They also got an offensive tackle who was on the Seattle Seahawks practice squad last year. That is all that they've done. Carolina, I know you're not a Cowboy fan, but I've been saying this all week long, and I said this all last season. The Cowboys window is officially closed. I am not going to entertain any Super Bowl talk. The window was open this past year. It was wide open for them. The Eagles fell apart. Cowboys won the division, number 2 seed. They can make some noise. They got knocked out by the Packers. The Cowboys aren't going to do crap. They are on the way down. And what's going to end up happening between now and March 18th when Dak Prescott is due us a roster bonus, they're going to re-sign him. And it's going to be for $60 million, and that's going to be the final nail in the coffin. Cowboys' future is over for the next 5 or 6 years. They ain't doing crap.
If they resign Dak, I'm done with them.
But they kind of got to.
I'm done with them. I already told you they're going to be my Sancha team this year.
Carolina, $60 million for Dak Prescott. Good deal or no?
I mean, no, because right now they only have $2 million in cap space. They need a running back. And I'm thinking they're probably going to draft a running back this upcoming 2024 draft is kind of where I'm going because they got rid of Tony Pollard. And then everybody thought they'd probably make a big splash, but you can't make big splashes when you don't have any money in cap space. If you only have 2 million, what can you really do? So, this whole narrative that Jerry said that they were all in this upcoming season, it's all a bunch of blowing smoke up everybody's asses, honestly. So I don't expect the Cowboys to really make much of a big move. And if they re-sign Dak, that's just going to hinder how much money that they're able to put into the team in the future. So they could easily free up that $60 million if they don't re-sign Dak. And
well, if they don't re-sign Dak, it doesn't get recouped until next year. So
it's still $60 million that they can get next year.
Right. So they'll have to do a hard reset like the Denver Broncos did with an $83 million cap hit because they got rid of Russell Wilson, who's now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You mentioned Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard signing a 3-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. That means Derrick Henry's gone from there. And a lot of Cowboy fans are there saying, well, we can go get Derrick Henry. With what money? With what money are they going to do that? And beyond all that, to add insult to injury, who did the Philadelphia Eagles get yesterday? The Eagles signed Saquon Barkley away from the Giants.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Tiki Barber, former Giants running back, went on Fox News yesterday and said, Fox Sports rather, and said Saquon's dead to me.
Yeah. You know what? Saquon clapped back though. He's
Yeah.
like, you just been nothing but a hater since I've been here. So it's like you don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing though. I saw this from Gelkin NFL on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah.
That the Cowboys were in the mix for running back Zach Moss. And ultimately the price extended past their comfort point. And Moss ended up signing with the Bengals on a 2-year, $8 million contract, which means about $4.5 million a year. So $4.5 million a year is past the Cowboys price point, which is insane.
That is insane. And what this is basically saying right now
They
is
broke.
RB1 for the Cowboys is Rico Dowdle. And a lot of Cowboy fans might be upset about that. Gonna be honest with you. I like Rico Dowdle. I like him a lot. I think him, and when they had Malik Davis, I thought that was a pretty decent combination. They're going to test the theory as to whether or not a running back is actually needed, a star running back. Because remember back in the day, the Cowboys were overpaying Zeke Elliott, and then they had Tony Pollard on a franchise tag, which means he was overpaid. They're going to run with a Rico Dowdle type of backfield and see if they can get 80 to 90% of Pollard production off of somebody making a fraction of the cost. The problem is that the savings isn't going to improve the roster anywhere else. The savings is going to pay for Dak Prescott, who is the king of just junk stats. That's all that he is, the king of junk stats. Yes, he was the runner-up when it came to the MVP last year, but I mean, come on, man. He's not the second best quarterback in the league at all. But Rico Dowdle, are you a believer?
I'm sorry, what was it? Rico who?
Rico Dowdle. So last year, Rico Dowdle for the Cowboys, 89 attempts, 361 yards, averaged 4.1 yards per attempt, had 2 touchdowns, also had 17 receptions. Do you think that this kind of guy, a Rico Dowdle, could be the star running back for a team making a run in the playoffs?
No. I just don't. I honestly think, and I know they say like you're not supposed to get a running back in the draft, but I'm thinking they could get Jonathan Brooks. That's kind of where I'm like leaning towards.
Yeah.
Because they weren't in conversations with any of the linebackers that people were interested in. Like, so for me, I just feel like if they go the running back route, that'd be the best way to fill that positional need. Because I feel like it's a huge loss losing Tony Pollard for sure.
It is a loss. He's a dynamic player. I mean, he didn't play as well as he did the year before. Yeah. But there were these question marks as to whether Tony Pollard was actually an RB1. And that's why he played better when Zeke was in the backfield as well. Dowdle is a young guy on a cheap contract. If they can get 1,000 yards off of him and get 300 receiving, I think they would take that as a victory. That's my personal opinion. Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that there's a talent problem when it comes to the Cowboys, because now you have, okay, so we now know on the offensive side, you have Dak Prescott, fine. Top 10 quarterback, sure, why not? Running back Rico Dowdle, question mark. You have CeeDee Lamb, who's a very, very, very good wide receiver, top 5 receiver out there. Tight end, to me, still up in the air. They have a lot of talent at tight end, but still up in the air as to whether one of them is elite or not. And then on top of that, wide receiver 2, 3, and 4, not that impressed by. Meantime, you go to the Eagles, Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Although he struggled down the stretch, he's still a decent quarterback. He's a threat with his legs. You've got Saquon Barkley now as the running back. A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. You've got weapons all over the place when it comes to them. And then you see across the conference over to San Francisco and all that they've got to play with. The Cowboys are not a talented team compared to everyone else. I think the Cowboys have taken a step back. Cowboys are still going to make the playoffs. They're still going to get their 10 wins. But I am not going to entertain any idea of them being a Super Bowl contending team this year because they don't got the talent to do so. And meantime, everybody else seems to be getting better. We saw Tampa Bay re-sign Baker Mayfield to a 3-year deal. And now Kirk Cousins is leaving Minnesota to go to the Atlanta Falcons. Dude, I mean, laugh all you want. This is a guy that he may only have one playoff win in his career, but that guy banks every single year.
He's still
the best agent.
Yeah, he's a solid QB still, man.
I'm just looking at the depth chart for the Cowboys right now, and Yeah, you're right. Compared to the Eagles, they don't have nowhere near as much depth. And you did name some people that I do like. I know I like Cavante Turpin. There's a lot of people there that are
Yeah.
good. CeeDee Lamb, all that good stuff. But for the most part, I feel like they should have a little bit more depth, and there's not really much they can do as far as free agency moves are concerned as of right now because they don't have the money. So my thing is, if they're going to build an elite roster, they have to have the money and they have to possibly have the draft picks, but they don't have that either. They don't really have a plethora of draft picks this upcoming season as well. So
And beyond all that, beyond having to get a running back and to get a good receiver, they need to replace Tyron Smith as offensive tackle. Future Hall of Famer is out the door. So
right.
now you need to replace him along the way. The Cowboys are sinking, man, and no one wants to admit it. And this is the second year in a row where the Cowboys have done nothing the first day. And all they've done is re-sign a long snapper. And all we're going to hear from Jerry Jones is we're all in. He's going to try to peddle T-shirts, peddle jerseys, because that's what they do. They are a brand. They are not a winning organization. We heard that from Dalton Schultz, right? He now plays with the Houston Texans. Dalton Schultz was being interviewed by Pat McAfee, and he basically said that it's a circus atmosphere playing for the Dallas Cowboys, and that he goes and plays for the Texans, and he goes, man, it's like college. All we're doing is playing football, thinking about football, studying, going over certain things. It is a football atmosphere. And he says with the Cowboys, it just wasn't that way.
Right. And also too, like, even the stuff, like, to me, that was a little bit alarming, is that they just lost their OT, right, with Tyron Smith. But for me, it was a little alarming on the offensive line day at the combine that a lot of people that the Cowboys were quote unquote interested in or should have been interested in hadn't been interviewed by the Cowboys. They never met with Jackson Powers Johnson, the center from Oregon. And everybody thought that that would be a good pick for them. Because he could probably move down the line at the draft. That'd be great for the center position that they were needing. Then Olu, who did great at the combine from Penn State as OT, he also said he never met with the Cowboys. Longhorns offensive tackle Christian Jones said he didn't meet with the Dallas Cowboys either. It was an informal meeting, not a formal one. So and Joe Alt also too. I mean, he also didn't meet with the Dallas Cowboys. The only one offensive tackle that they met with that I was aware of was Amarius Mims, which is probably going to be one of the higher picks as an offensive tackle. But for me, it's like, if you have these positional needs on the offensive line, as far as like center is concerned, or an offensive tackle, why aren't you interviewing everybody that you can possibly get, especially somebody who might move down the draft, like Jackson Powers. I feel like for me, that would show that they're interested in kind of making moves, whether it's through the draft or whether it's through free agency. But not only have they been quiet as of yesterday, they're also not really talking to people as well for the combine. So I'm like, what is their plan? What are they gonna do? So it's a little confusing. Like, I'm trying to see like what need they're going to fill and who they're going to get, because I do think if the Cowboys want a strong offensive line, then they have to have somebody at center, somebody at offensive tackle at the minimum. So, and their depth for me isn't as great as I would like for it to be on offense. So yeah, they got a lot of holes that they need to fill, and it seems like they're not doing anything, at least from what I could see, to fill those holes.
Now, one team that is doing something is the Houston Texans. Got some breaking news coming in to the Alamo City Sportscast. Are we going to have the bump?
I'm going to see if we can.
Do we have the bump? Yeah. Do we have the bump? Breaking news. Coming down within the last 15 minutes, the Houston Texans have traded for a running back. They traded for Bengals star Joe Mixon.
Wow.
So welcome to the Houston Texans. Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon was supposed to be released by the Bengals, which would have made him available to anybody. But instead, the Houston Texans jumped up and said, nah, we're not going to let him hit the market. We're going to get him now. So now Joe Mixon is going to join CJ Stroud and all those young studs over there.
Might be time to become a Texans fan.
Nice. Now that is a team that's making moves. And just a few years ago, they were in dumpster juice land with Bill O'Brien, but now they've seemed to have done a turnaround and they're making these moves that you would expect them to make, because people were like, oh, are the Texans going to get Derrick Henry? Who are they going to get? And to sign Joe Mixon, that's a big deal. So out of the Texas teams, the only team that seems to be giving a shit, it seems like, is the Texans, which is crazy, because if you were in the playoffs and you're trying to build a championship team, like, these type of things are kind of important. And like I said, the lack of things that I'm hearing from the Cowboys side is just, to me, a little bit odd. I don't know what's going on, and it's a little confusing.
Yeah. Call it like it is. It's a shit show.
Joe Mixon, a former Pro Bowler, 27 years old, last year had 1,400 all-purpose yards, 1,000 on the ground, basically 400 through the air. He's a very solid back, very dynamic back. You add him to a Devin Singletary and the rest that they have going on over there. Houston Texans looking stronger and stronger by the day. The DeMeco Ryans era is blossoming over there in the 713, the 281.
You know what else is happening here?
Yeah.
Look at what one of our commenters put on here. Charlie Hernandez. The Packers got better with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, they did.
And Mike Jones is saying Lions, Eagles, or Packers will win the NFC next year. No lies detected.
And Aaron Jones made his way over to the Minnesota Vikings. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic right there. So you look at the NFC. So that's why I say the window's closed for the Cowboys, is because last year you had the NFC was down.
Mm-hmm.
And the AFC was up last year. The NFC was down. There were a lot of injuries. Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay for the Jets, and it was wide open for the Cowboys to take over the NFC. All they had really in front of them at the end of the day was the Niners, but then the Packers just came and just whooped their ass there at Jerry World. But now what do we see in the NFC? We see teams like Detroit getting better. We see Atlanta, who now has a competent quarterback. So now you have a competent quarterback in Kirk Cousins. I'm not saying he's great. He's competent, but you have him tossing the ball to Bijan Robinson or handing the ball off to Bijan. Maybe that tight end Kyle Pitts will finally turn into something. You've got the fact that the Rams are getting healthier. When healthy, are a good team.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints offensively are getting better. I don't trust their coach yet. But the Saints, if the Saints get Brock Bowers in the first round of the draft, game on.
I don't trust their quarterback. Let's put it like that.
Derek Carr had almost 4,000 yards passing last year. I don't think Derek Carr was a problem. I think part of it was Kamara was suspended for quite some time, and they had a winning record. They were 9-8.
I'm just saying Derek Carr's never been that guy. I mean, he's okay.
I'm not gonna pin my hopes and heart on them. But what I'm saying is that they're not that far off from the Cowboys. The Cowboys they're farther away than the Cowboys as far as being better. Cowboys are middle of the pack now.
I think they're NFC. I think they're going to be below that, Mike. I think this year is going to be an eye opener for Cowboy fans.
Yeah, I think this is a 9-8, 10-7 team at best.
Yeah,
it is going to be an eye opener for them. And speaking of Josh Jacobs, that was a huge move that the Packers made, getting him, because that's one of my favorite players in the NFL. I think the Bears could give the NFC North a run for their money if they draft Caleb Williams and they draft a rookie wide receiver at number 9, or trade with the Raiders at 13 and still get a wide receiver, because it's the deepest wide receiver class we've seen in a long time. And I really want the Chicago Bears to get Danielle Hunter as an edge rusher, because I feel like if they add him to pair with Montez Sweat, I'm saying Josh Jacobs is incredible, but it could give them a run for their money. So I'm excited about everything that's been going on in the free agency and what's going to happen in the draft. I just can't wait to see how these teams pan out. But it seems like you guys said, the Cowboys suck. They haven't done anything. Those are the only ones. Like, I would hate to be a Cowboys fan right now, doing absolutely nothing.
Look at this. Is funny, Mike.
Yeah.
Charlie Hernandez says, that's it. I'm jumping ship from Cowboys to Texan fan. And Noah Pettis says, nah, we don't want Cowboy fans to bandwagon.
Yeah, no.
Is it acceptable though? Is it acceptable? Can you jump from a Cowboys fan to a Texans fan if you'd like?
Yeah.
Socially acceptable.
Oh, our friend Matt Lerma says, "What's good, guys? How y'all doing? We're doing good, Mike.
We're doing good. We haven't no Spurs talk yet, though. I mean, we're 40 minutes in, and we're not talking any Spurs.
Yeah, we're not talking about.
Well, the NFL is way more fun right now, anyway.
Yeah, so. It is. And Dilla reminded us that Devin Singletary actually left the Texans yesterday, so it's not going to be a backfield of Joe Mixon, because Devin Singletary is now a member of the New York Giants, who's going to replace Saquon Barkley.
Look at Jonathan C. The Saints should sign Shane Footsteps Falco.
There's lots of movement going on. Looking at the Texans right now, they got Joe Mixon from the Bengals as part of a trade. Cannot be made official until tomorrow. They re-signed Dalton Schultz to a 3-year deal, $36 million. They signed Danico Autry, a defensive lineman. They got 3 cornerbacks, including Jeff Okudah, who was a top 5 pick overall just like 4 years ago. They got him as a cornerback, and then they re-signed their kicker Fairbairn. The Texans are making moves, and I'm looking at the Cowboys. This is according to NFL.com when it comes to the tracker. The Cowboys, it's blank. Dude, show me the screen. Show my screen.
God.
When it shows what has each team done, it is literally blank.
Well,
We ain't done shit.
They signed
It's horrible.
They signed a long snapper, apparently. They re-signed a long snapper that was already on the team, and they picked up a offensive tackle that was on the Seattle Seahawks practice squad and is in his early 30s.
You know why the Cowboys haven't done nothing? They don't do nothing anyway, but this year they can't even do anything because they ain't got no damn money.
And it's going to get worse. By the way, your Chicago Bears there got DeAndre Swift. Pretty good deal there. 3-year, $24 million deal. Your thoughts on DeAndre Swift's talents going to the Windy City?
I'm just happy about our team making moves. That's the whole thing. They had about, I think, 80 million cap space. So they have a lot of room to make a lot of changes. Plus, they kind of like lucked out and got a lottery ticket with getting the number 1 pick too. So they have tons of options that they can do. They can get Caleb Williams, they can get or keep Justin Fields and maybe get some more picks in the draft with that number 1 pick. I doubt that's going to happen, but the Bears have been making me really proud lately for the moves they've been making. But I really want to make sure that this team, they didn't have a bad record, but the NFC North is really strong. I do think they have a lot of potential to grow and get so much better next year. And I'm actually really happy with what Ryan Poles is doing as a GM. And I do think they have potential to be a playoff caliber team really, really soon. Like I said, I think the most depressing thing for me about this whole thing is I was expecting the Cowboys to at least do something, but their hands are kind of tied. And that's kind of what's bothering me the most, because we live here in Texas. You want to see what the Cowboys are going to do, and they just are not doing anything at all. And that's kind of the weird part. That's kind of the thing that's kind of making me sad about this.
If anyone
whole thing.
knows disappointment, it's CT being a Bears fan. You know,
Yeah,
that's how we feel.
So it's interesting that the difference between the NFL and the NBA, because the NBA, you have the draft and then you have free agency. In the NFL, you have free agency and then you have the draft. And I like it this way, because then you can know what do we need to fill out when it comes to the roster. The ripple effects of all the signings go into the draft, because if you've picked up a certain player, for example, the Texans getting Joe Mixon today, they don't have to go get a running back. They got one, so it affects things. USA Today has now come out with, just this morning, a brand new mock draft based on all the things that happened yesterday. And they're saying that their changes are being made. Now, they still believe the top 3 will be quarterbacks. They believe the Bears will get Caleb Williams. Jaden Daniels going to the Washington Commanders at 2. Drake May the quarterback going to the Patriots. Marvin Harrison Jr. of Ohio State going to the Cardinals. That's the belief. And they believe that the Minnesota Vikings will jump up and go after J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback from Michigan, who, by the way, was projected to be a second rounder. His former head coach Harbaugh, was out there saying that this guy is a top 5 talent, has been advocating for him. McCarthy did well at the combine, and because of that, he's skyrocketing right now, and Minnesota might have to take him now that they've lost Kirk Cousins. Giants taking Malik Neighbors, according to USA Today, the stud receiver from LSU. Now, as far as other teams of note, 14, they have the Saints taking Byron Murphy out of Texas, the defensive tackle. And I'm looking for the Texans here. The Texans at number 23 would go after Jared Verse, defensive end from Florida State. And the Cowboys having to do the boring thing, but the important thing, which is go after a tackle, and it's Tyler Guyton of Oklahoma that they believe is who the person that they'd go after because, again, Tyron Smith is no longer going to be with the team.
They
But
definitely need to tackle.
they do, and it's, dude, I'm sorry, man. The Cowboys are not in anymore. The window closed. The window closed.
That window closed when they re-signed Dak. I mean, come on.
Well, they need a tackle. They need a center. I think they need a running back. I mean, there's a lot of things that they need.
Throw up the whole damn team.
You don't believe the Rico Dowdle era? Come on, Rico Dowdle. He's the guy.
Okay, y'all can make him y'all's guy. Y'all can make him y'all's guy. I mean, if he has a breakout year, great. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So now that we got this straight, the Cowboys are all in, but they haven't signed anybody, but they've hemorrhaged Tyron Smith and Tony Pollard. That's where we are.
Mm-hmm.
They've hemorrhaged those guys. Okay. We're all in. If you were a first round loss last year and you're worse now, talent wise, and everyone else has gotten better, I don't see it.
What do you think is going to happen?
They're in an easy division.
We can't say they're not going to make the playoffs or whatever because it's too soon. We don't know what moves they're going to make. And of course, injuries happen throughout the season. But based off of what we already see, the Eagles have a superior team. I mean, they're going to get dunked on twice a year at the minimum.
Cowboys also lost Dorrance Armstrong. So, I mean, the Cowboys have lost talent, haven't gotten any talent in return. You know what they sound like? They sound like Pop in the front office. We like our guys. We're gonna see.
We like the team we have.
Like the team that we have.
We like the team we have. We believe in them. We're trying to develop our younger core.
No mames. That's what you're gonna say back to them. No mames.
Speaking of the Spurs, they lost last night. Just when we talked about the potential for
Let's talk about
a winning streak. Just when we thought that the Spurs could actually get their first winning streak since 2022, they lost to a team that they beat 2 nights before. They lost to the Golden State Warriors 112-102. Welcome back, Victor Wembanyama. He was back on the team yesterday, coming back from an injury, rolled his ankle a couple of games ago. 27 points and 14 rebounds. Sohan had 9 points. Champagny had 9. Devin Vassell off night shooting. Well, it's kind of weird. 5 for 8 from 3, 0 for 6 from 2. Had 17 points last night. Keldon had 16. It was just a sloppy game for the Spurs.
What did Booty Crumbs Collins have? What did he put in?
Zach Collins actually had a decent game. Played 17 minutes, 10 points, 10 rebounds, made 5 out of 8 shots.
Not bad.
Still
Booty Crumbs.
He knows he's going to get that. He's going to get that bank at the end of the year. Malachi Branham came down to earth. He was 1 for 8, missed all 4 3-point attempts. He had been on fire from 3 the last 10 games. Came back down to earth. Spurs back in action tonight, taking on the Houston Rockets without Alperen Sengun, who, by the way, the injury was not as bad as expected.
Yeah, thank goodness, man, for him.
They wheeled him off in a wheelchair off the court over the weekend. The belief was that it was going to be a very bad
ACL or something,
or very bad break or something. Turned out to be what they call a severe, not mild, an extremely severe is the way they described it, sprain, along with a bone bruise, like a knee bruise.
Yeah, that's
which still, I mean, that's I'm not going to give him crap for being wheeled off, man. You know, I'm going to give Paul Pierce crap for being wheeled out back in the day, but Alperen Sengun, he's going to be okay.
You know, I just saw this stat popped up on the Twitter, on the X, and it says the Spurs are now 10-16 when leading by double digits. And San Antonio last night, they led by 11 and fell to 2-37 when down by 15 points.
Well, you know what about last night's game that really shocked me the most was that they were up by 2 at halftime, and then the third quarter starts, and then the Warriors go on this crazy run, like 26-2 or something like that. And it took 5 minutes before Keldon Johnson finally got a field goal attempt, and Pop finally calls the timeout 5 minutes in. Wemby's not on the court. So there were some things that alarmed me in that third quarter. Like, why didn't Pop call a timeout sooner?
He wants to figure it out.
Having 1 field goal, and there wasn't a timeout done until Keldon Johnson got his field goal. And then you had the fact that Wemby wasn't in there. Like, when Wemby's not in the game, their defensive presence takes a nosedive, and they were just dunking on Zach Collins like crazy. So for me, that third quarter really messed up the entire game.
Well, the
So
Spurs notoriously have fourth
I just
quarter.
didn't understand why a timeout wasn't called sooner, why Wemby wasn't subbed in at that time when the Warriors started going on their crazy run. It just like it just took a straight nosedive, and I thought that was really weird.
Yeah.
And Hannibal Fist says it best on our YouTube stream. Wemby steps off the court, all hell breaks loose.
True
You know,
enough.
they're a
I mean,
good
that's
team.
what it looked like, but also too, like I said, why is Pop not calling a timeout when they're going on this crazy run?
He wants them to figure this out. I think he's been frustrated
Right.
with his team because even from the beginning of the season, their holdovers from the prior season keep making the same mistakes. At some point, you got to let them try to figure things out. And I think that's what Coach Pop is doing. And by the time he calls a timeout, it's pretty much game over at that point. You know, there's really not much you can do. Spurs have a hard time climbing back in it. But at the end of the day, I mean, these guys need to learn to figure things out. They need to learn to at least not play lockdown defense, because that's not what this team does, or hardly any of the teams in the NBA. But get stops when it matters.
They can't, because they don't have the talent.
And then when Wemby's off the court, forget it.
And that's
dude.
why the belief that
Forget
if
it.
you just keep them together and they play together for 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 more
They're
seasons,
terrible.
that they're going to figure it out. No, because they don't have the talent.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Well, the thing is, like, there's one thing to like figure it out, but like to me, that was a winnable game. They were already up at halftime, so like perhaps maybe try to figure it out if they're losing drastically. But if they were up 2 at halftime and there's a lag, and I guess I don't think like a coach, so maybe this is a learning experience. And you're right, like I because that's what I was talking about last night with Christian. Like, why didn't Pop call a timeout? And he said exactly what you said, Joe. Like, probably didn't call a timeout because trying to teach them for them to do it on their own. But at the same time, it's like, damn, this was kind of winnable. So I get that they need to figure it out on their own, but like, can we get some help here from the coach?
Daddy can't come in and save their ass all the time by calling timeouts. They got to figure it out on their own.
All right,
I just feel like he should help out just a little bit, you know. But I feel like at the same time, like, I mean, Warriors had so many turnovers. Like, there were so many things that, like, it was a winnable game.
Like, CT, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but there's this one little snippet from I forgot what TV series it is, and they have the kid trying to put the spoon in the electrical socket, right? And the mom's all, no, and the dad goes and sits down. He goes, do it. He said, once he does that, he'll never do it again. That's what Coach Pop is doing with this young Spurs team. He can't always bail him out. It's that kid trying to stick the fork in the light socket. Do it. Let him do it, you know? But the thing with Coach Pop is it's frustrating because he lets them do this and they never learn.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like the kid continuing to stick the fork in the socket over and over again. Like, okay, now we need to step in and kind of help him out a little bit.
Let's
but
just say it. They suck.
They're bad.
They suck. Let's turn our attention to the fight that happened this past weekend between the LSU Tigers and the South Carolina Gamecocks. It was the talk of all sports talk radio yesterday. I saw they were mentioned on PTI and all those shows on ESPN. 6 players were ejected from this game. You have the number 1 team in the nation, South Carolina, in the SEC championship game against the defending champion LSU Tigers. Against South Carolina, they were running the table last year. They were undefeated, and they're undefeated now. But then they lost to Caitlin Clark's team, Iowa, and then Caitlin Clark's team lost to LSU. So LSU managed to win the national championship without having to go through South Carolina. Very, very big game. But the update on all this is a tweet that controversial LSU star Angel Reese had. And I want to get your impression on this because you see one of the players get just leveled there, okay? An LSU player nudged, gave a little shiver to a South Carolina player.
Right? Was it Flage?
Yes.
Yeah.
And but before that, there was hair pulling on a play, there was grabbing and all that stuff. It was a very tough physical game. But out of all the people there that are fighting, you see South Carolina's big star, that 6'8" girl, is right there in the middle of it all. She's the one who pushed the 5'10" player down. Nowhere to be seen is Angel Reese.
Mm-hmm.
So Angel Reese tweeted out, quote, and I want to get your impression on this quote. As a person at my status all capitalized, as a person of my status, sometimes you have to walk away from certain situations Mind you, the play before, I rolled my ankle again and was already walking to the bench. I always ride for mine. I'm super proud of my team and super excited for March. Hashtag Go Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that star from South Carolina suspended for the first game of March Madness,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Angel Reese is there saying, someone of my status, someone who is the star of my team, I can't be involved in any of that because I'll get suspended.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are criticizing her, saying, "Hey, man, if your team is being manhandled or there's a big old fracas going on, big old tussle going on, that you should be part of it." But for her to say, "No, I know that I'm important to my team. I got to go sit my ass back down on the bench and not be part of it." What are your thoughts of her articulating that?
She's scared.
She's right. She's she's right, because she said her ankle was messed up. So the last thing she needs to do is get into a fight. And Angel Reese has said so many times that when other people do things, it's not an issue. But when Angel Reese does it, then she gets called ghetto. Then she gets called, all the stereotypical things that you would call a Black female athlete, because she's doing the exact same thing somebody else is doing. And Angel Reese always gets super criticized by Kim Mulkey sitting her on the bench earlier this season. And people are trying to figure out, is it her grade? She thinks she's too big of a star. Anything Angel Reese does, she's going to get criticized for it. So when these situations occur, had Angel Reese had jumped in there out of nowhere and kind of engaged in all of what was going on, she would have been the problem. The media would have put everything on her, and the NCAA could have made an example out of her. March Madness is coming up. They could have suspended her. They could have fined her. So when you're looking at it from Angel Reese's vantage point, yes, somebody of her status, whether people think that's too Hollywood or not, that's where she's at. She's the main star. Between her and Flau'jae, they're the stars of the team. So Angel Reese needs to make sure that she's not involved in that, so that way they can get another championship at the end of March Madness throughout this stretch. So she can't take any risks like that. So she's right. I mean, for her to get criticism for staying out the way is she's damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. If she would have gotten in the fight, then they would have called her all types of names. She could have got punished. This was the best route to take, and she took it.
Let's go to Two Box if we can there, Joe. Jonathan C reaches out to us on our YouTube stream saying Angel Reese ain't no Caitlin Clark. By the way, the video was courtesy of ESPN, saying that she ain't no Caitlin Clark. You're right, because Angel Reese is the MVP of the NCAA March Madness tournament. Angel Reese is a champion. Caitlin Clark isn't.
Okay. The thing is, it's like comparing them one to the other is not okay. They're their own individuals. Caitlin Clark is her own individual. She's broken her own record. She's in her own lane. Angel Reese is a champion. She also knows what it's like to be an elite player and take it to the top. Both of them have status, if we're being fair. And if this was Caitlin Clark in the situation and she chose not to engage, she'd be just as smart too. It's just how you handle situational instances like this. I think she did a great job and she did the right thing. Like I said, if she would have engaged, it would have been a nightmare for her, as far as like people would start questioning her character, questioning if she's ready to be in the WNBA because she engages in fights. Like there would have been so many narratives written about her. So she did the right thing.
Well, what about the narrative of this? I saw a TikTok. There's a certain TikToker that I follow that she says that she tries to explain sports to women and people who don't follow sports. That she says there's a lot of tea, if you will, when it comes to sports. And I love her. She does a fantastic job. She's African American, and she was saying that if Kim Mulkey was Black, and if Dawn Staley, the head coach of South Carolina, who is African American, had said what Kim Mulkey had said, that Dawn Staley would have been criticized, but Kim Mulkey's not. Kim Mulkey, obviously, she's white. You know, she's a champion herself, has won at multiple schools. But Kim Mulkey, after the game, said that was asked about the whole fight, saying, "Well, I don't want to. This shouldn't happen. It's not a good thing for the sport." But then she goes off and says, "I wish she had pushed somebody her own size, like Angel Reese, but she didn't. She went after a player that was significantly smaller than her." Uh-huh. And the girl, the star from South Carolina, is 6'8". The girl that she threw down to the ground is 5'10". 5'10", still really big, right? Tall, but 6'8" coming at you. Kim Mulkey coming out and saying, "Why don't you mess with somebody your own size?" This particular podcaster was saying that's something that Dawn Staley could never have said. Your thoughts on that?
I don't know if that's something that Dawn Staley could never have said, because if she says it, she says it. I mean, people can say whatever they want. But I do think that it was a little bit strange that she was like, pick on someone your own size, because I haven't heard a coach really say that before, unless I just don't pay attention to post-game press conferences the way I should. But I like Coach Popovich's approach when things like this happen on the court. He's like, things happen on the court, and people are high in their emotions, and it's just something that happens in the game. And then he doesn't elaborate. I think honestly that approach is the best possible answer. So I was a little bit alarmed by what she said, by taking a firm stance, but she's allowed to do that. And Dawn Staley, if she ever chooses to do that, she can do that as well. And I would still have her back and say it's okay. Just like I think it's Kim Mulkey having her team's back is okay as well. But my personal opinion is that I like the way Pop handles it when there's scuffles on court like that.
I agree with 100% of what you're saying today when it comes to this, because I believe that if Dawn Staley said it, she'd be criticized. I believe what you said when it comes to Angel Reese. Had Angel Reese been part of the fight, the narrative would have been that she's out of control, that she's all about herself. She doesn't think about the school, doesn't think about the team. And again, a fight breaks out. There's 9 players involved. You have a teammate's brother who jumps across the scores table, gets arrested for disorderly conduct and for assault on top of it all. Mm-hmm. And for Angel Reese to go off to the side and be like, I'm too important to be missing these games.
She is.
Knows leadership. That's what a leader does.
Yep.
A leader doesn't get into fights for no reason. A leader thinks about the consequences. Mm-hmm. And that's what Angel Reese did. And Kim Mulkey, by the way, I'm an LSU fan. That's where my money goes to. I was paying $1,666 per month for about 2.5 years when my daughter was in school over there. Gosh. It hurt. Made my last payment in December, but my daughter graduated with no debt, which is the whole goal.
Amazing. Good.
The thing about it is that as much as I cheer for LSU, Kim Mulkey just gives me the creeps. She just gives me the. I mean, she's just. They're just. She's evil. She is evil personified. She is college basketball's version of Nick Saban. Maybe not Nick Saban. Nick Saban's not evil. The Harbaughs are evil, right? But oh my God, just see Kim Mulkey and the way she dresses just throws me off. She dresses like she's a country star.
You know what? I think Kim Mulkey, and there's certain people in sports where you either really love them or you really hate them. I think with her, it's one or the other. Like you either really love Kim Mulkey or you are on the other side where you don't like her at all. But I feel like when you feel indifferent about somebody, that's when it's an issue. So you
I'm going to cheer for them. I'm going to hope they get another one because, again, LSU.
Hey, I was going to show you. We got something. I don't know if it's entertainment news per se, but I just saw this pop up the other day. And again, I saw it right now being reported by TMZ.
What's going on?
Dak Prescott. So Dak Prescott is allegedly claiming here, Dak Prescott claims a woman is threatened to go public with a false sexual assault allegation against him if he doesn't pay her $100 million. I'm going to go ahead and show that on the screen right now.
Yeah, I read that this morning.
And there was a report stating that he was actually going to file suit against her for putting in a false claim against him. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he's countersuing her for $1 million, saying that it is a defamation and things like that. Now, her people are saying that he says at the very least that they hooked up back in the day. This was years ago. Now, Dak Prescott is
2017, I believe, something like that.
Dak Prescott has since, going to become a father in the next few days or so. I see the photos of his Latina girl or whatever, girlfriend, whatever. I don't think they're married yet. But he seems to be on the up and up when it comes to things. I found it interesting because he was very proactive in trying to get in front of this and to countersue. Normally, I side with the let's find out, let's get the facts out there. But when the number's $100 million,
that's a lot, dude.
Yeah, that's throwing me off, man. That's giving me a red flag of some sort because I'm a girl dad, And I believe that sexual assault happens. I believe that Deshaun Watson was doing shit he shouldn't have been doing. I believe in all of that. So I'm not trying to say that Dak is incapable of that because we don't know who he is, right? But the suit that he alleges that is coming his way it just throws up red flags for me. It just makes it seem disingenuous a little bit. And the fact that he actually is being vocal about this, he's talking about it, countersuing about it. Right as of right now, I'm leaning towards saying that I believe Dak more.
I'd probably have to
I don't know
agree
the
with you,
result.
man.
I don't know, and typically I go the other way.
Yeah, I would agree with you in this case. And the thing is, it sounds like an extortion plot. And of course, if somebody's going to sue you for 100 million, the hope is that we'll go ahead and settle for a fraction of that.
Right.
But at this point in time, Dak's tired of getting
And
exploited.
she hasn't gone public yet.
Yeah.
She never went public. He's coming out in front of the story saying, "This is what this girl's doing."
Yeah.
She is. So it's not like one of those things where lawsuit filed and then it's about him responding. This is him coming out in front going, "I know that this woman's doing this. She's going to file a lawsuit against me for this, that, and the other." And he's getting in front of it. It's either great PR. I hope he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he didn't, but it just seems to be that Dak Prescott is playing this correctly.
Yeah, it does, because when you are a star quarterback or just any type of celebrity or rich athlete, people will make up things about you just as a money grab, and they hope that you settle just to get it out of the way. But Dak is setting an example by countersuing. And that example is, if you or anybody else thinks that you can do this to me and get away with it, it's not going to happen. I'm going to sue you too. And I'm going to try to get money for my lawyer fees. I'm going to try to get money for all the stress you put me through because of your allegations that are false and you have absolutely no evidence. So if that's his approach to teaching not only her a lesson, but as a warning to other people, women or men, who might try to extort him for some money, that's the perfect way to do it. So, I mean, that's the approach you should take, especially if you know that you are right.
We'll find out a little bit more. We're also going to find out the paternity potentially of Jerry Jones and the woman who claims that she's his daughter. And he says that he's not her daughter, but she says, "But you've been paying my mom for the better part of 3 decades, Dad." So Jerry Jones, we'll find out the paternity soon enough when it comes to it. Let's talk about our Baddie Brackets. Give an update. Again, we're going to try to find out the hottest female celeb. Most people have been okay with my Baddie Brackets, CT. Again, this is just fun. This is just in honor of March Madness, or as Fernandez calls it, March Badness. # March Badness. I've had a couple of people come out and say, "Isn't this kind of sexist?" And my answer to them is, yeah, it kind of is. But that's the whole thing. Guys like looking at girls. But what I found funny is that you mentioned, CT, that you voted on this.
Yeah, I did.
And I bet you out of the dozens, hundreds of people who vote on these things, I bet you that women are probably 20 to 25% of the voting base.
You know what? Oh, you know who also voted? Steph.
Yes,
Mejia?
yeah.
She voted too.
So I find that to be funny, okay? Because I didn't say men only. Maybe I should have. I don't know. But we do have female watchers of this show, listeners of the show and the podcast. People come up to me, and they are women. So we're trying to not make this as sexist as possible. Try to make it as classy as possible to determine.
Y'all are trying to make it sexist. You guys failed miserably. Just saying. The last episode, y'all were like so sexist, but it was okay. Like, I get it. Y'all are men, but hell nah, y'all failed. If y'all not trying to be sexist, y'all failed. But the good thing is, like, the way we look at it, probably, like, I don't know how Steph looks at it, but the way I look at it is like, it's just fun. So I mean, I feel like the way I look at it is like not who's the hottest, but like who's the most beautiful, like who's the best baddie. So that's how I see it. But men look at it differently, like who has the biggest breasts, like, you know what I mean? Who has, so it's different.
Well, and you know what? I think that Joe's on the right track. That we need to have a big woman
plus size.
There you go, a plus size bracket. We'll BB may resurrect herself.
Ashley Graham.
Yeah,
Ashley
that's what I'm
Graham.
saying. You know what? At the end of the day, all women, all sizes, they all beautiful, man.
Hey, man. We all look the same in the dark. That's what I'm saying.
Oh God, Mike, he always makes it
Mike,
weird. CT always makes it weird.
Damn, Mike.
So here's the thing: we're gonna advance 2 into the next round, and again, we're gonna do pods for the round of 64. When we get to the Sweet 16, it's gonna be 1-on-1, woman on woman there. And right now, in one pod, we have Shakira leading with 49% of the vote. Now the vote's gonna keep going until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, but Shakira at 49%. You can vote at MJ Acquire Taste or at Two Shots Podcast on Twitter,
on
X. Shakira right now at 49%. Selena Gomez, who, by the way, I didn't realize how curvy that girl was until recently.
I think they're photoshopping those.
She's
pictures,
getting curvy,
man.
curvy.
They enhanced her a little bit, but she's a curvy girl.
Well, I mean,
You know?
because of her condition, she's gained weight,
Yeah, she's a
and it's
curvy
not
girl.
bad. I don't mind it. I
Mhm.
don't mind it at all, man.
But it looks bad on BB.
no, dude. BB went too far, dude.
Man,
BB went too far.
Mike.
See,
I like how Joe has BB's back no matter what.
well, I
BB's
mean,
my girl.
BB's
Joe
back
loves
in many
BB.
ways. Okay,
BB's my girl.
so I was trying to tell him that she went from thick with
No,
2 C's
Mike.
to thick with a CK.
She ain't
Okay.
even that big.
All
Trying to
right.
tell Mike, man.
All right. So right now we have Shakira with 49%, Selena Gomez with 27%, Beyonce with 12%, SZA with 12%. I think we're all sleeping on SZA. SZA's hot. In the next bracket,
No Ice Spice.
no, dude, that girl's not attractive at all.
Mike.
BB, oh my God. What are you talking about? You're crazy right
From the
now.
neck down, she's fine. She's hot from the neck down.
I can't with
But-
him.
but with
Yeah,
that too.
she has a really pretty face.
No, she does not.
Oh, Mike, come on, man.
No, she fell down the ugly tree, dude. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Even
bro.
Shaq said she's fine. She's fine in real life. Shaq said that
Well,
himself.
Shaq is 7 feet tall. He can't see her from far down.
Oh,
She's so
man.
far away height wise. Now, in the other bracket, we have Dua Lipa with 48% of the vote. Rihanna at 20%. This is a close one because again, second place advances. And right now, check this out: 20%, 17% to 15%. Literally 1 or 2 votes separates Rihanna from Casey Musgraves and from BB Rexa. Now, that's a different type of look. Like Casey Musgraves is not smoking hot. She's just really pretty. That's a different vibe. Like like the whole F Marry Kill. She's the Mary one in that bracket.
Mhm.
Okay. So
But you put my girl BB Rexa with all these other girls, man.
Oh,
She don't
dude,
stand a chance.
dude, she was going to
man.
be 3rd or 4th place no matter what bracket that it was going to be
No,
in,
man.
unless we were doing a plus size
That's
bracket.
what I'm saying. You should have done a plus size bracket.
I mean, BB's the size of Dua Lipa and Rihanna combined.
Oh Lord, here we go. And you know what? If she was at the bar, she'd still give you no play.
Well, dude,
You know what? I feel like I can't wait to see who ends up on top. I can't wait, but we need to do a guys baddies bracket.
Oh man, that's all you, CT.
I know we can do that. Yeah, you're right. That is all me.
That's
all
called
you.
that's called the Zaddies bracket.
Zaddy.
Baddies bracket. Let me. I do have to get going, you guys. I just got a work call that I have to take.
Not a problem.
I got to make a work call in just a few minutes, but
Tell us what you got going on. Tell us what you got going on. And this weekend, March 17th, St. Patty's Day.
March
RCW.
17th, I'm going to be at RCW at Hybrid School of Wrestling. Tickets are on sale at rivercitywrestling.com. No, www.rivercitywrestling.net. Tickets are on sale, and I'm going to be wearing green. I have lost a total of 13 pounds, and I am going crazy with all this work that I have to do. So I've just been like nonstop lately. So everything comes in as it goes, and I have a lot of crap going on, it feels like lately, but it's worth it. I love working, and I love being on the show every Tuesday, so I like seeing your faces.
I'm taking a look right now. There's probably about 75 tickets remaining for the RCW event on March 17th. First row taken all the way around, but you've got a lot of second row seats available. I'd say about 25 of them from the second row. There's no bad seat in the house because it only goes far back as like 5 or 6 rows.
Yeah.
And then lots of ring seats as well. So as they make their entrance and things like that. So very, very cool. We're looking at ticket prices anywhere between 15 and $30. Inexpensive. I had a blast out there. Might have to make a second appearance. We'll check it out.
You should. Oh, and I don't know if y'all saw the meeting with me and Thunder Rosa. We kind of got into it.
Yeah, saw that.
I did. I liked it.
In Brand's office.
We kind of got into it. So March 20th is, I'm not looking forward to seeing her at Mission Pro Mania on 420 because I'm not on her good side right now and she's my boss. So yeah, I kind of just like stormed in, cursed out Brad from the Salvation Army and told him to get up. Yeah.
For my birthday, by the way, which is tomorrow, I need for you to say hi to a homegirl, the wrestling homegirl. What's her name again?
Calentita?
Calientita. That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
I want to say happy birthday. I'm going to tell you happy birthday tomorrow, but happy early birthday. And what are your plans?
Tell her I said sup.
Oh my god.
What are your plans for your birthday tomorrow?
Tomorrow, hanging out with family, hanging out with my kids in the morning, family tomorrow night. But I'll go drinking on Saturday. That's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
I might make a little Twitter invite for people. Let people know. Mario Cavazos reaches out to us on our YouTube stream, says he got his tickets already for RCW. Very, very, very nice. Very nice. CT,
nice, Mario.
have a good day at work today.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you guys for having me. It's always a pleasure. I will see. Oh, another thing, my podcast is tonight.
Okay.
Over on, I usually have it on Mondays, but because I was so tired from that bender that I was on this weekend, I took a day off, and today is actually my podcast. So if you guys want to hear more, I'm going to be kind of talking about the free agency more than anything. So if you guys can't get enough of free agency talk, come see me and we'll be talking about the free agency. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Very nice.
See you later. Bye.
That is Carolina Teague. You can catch her on Twitter/X at CT the Mike Slayer. She was nice enough to admit the fact that she actually votes in our Baddie Brackets.
Yeah.
So maybe it isn't as sexist as we think.
Women like to vote because they think other women are beautiful and they're going to go ahead and put their votes in and see what happens.
They're the ones voting for certain people because, like, I'm going to be honest with you, like Rihanna 10 years ago was the number 1 seed of 1 seeds. Do I think Rihanna's a 1 seed now? No. I think she's going to advance because she's going to get the women's vote. That's what I think. And I think that that's the case also with a lot of other celebrities out there that women find more attractive than men do. Not to say that men don't find them attractive. It's just men aren't going to vote for them in our Baddie Brackets. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain guys or certain gals rather that women find to be more attractive than others, and it's just the other way around. Mario Kovacic says that he wants to see CT wrestle. Good.
I've told her to get in the ring before.
Yeah,
I told her.
I'd be willing to do one body slam. If Calientita can lift me up, she can have at it.
I told CT she needs to turn heel, man, and be one of those managers that throws matches. I said, I want to see that happen.
Yeah, when the referee looks the other way,
yeah,
goes in there and starts pummeling somebody and then gets back out.
Yep.
Dude, I had a blast at RCW. I enjoyed it more than I thought. I really went to show respect and to support CT, but I was surprised at how much I enjoyed being out there. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've gone a couple times already, to some of these RCW matches in the past before CT became the official ring announcer. Now that she's become the ring announcer, I'm always so busy. I don't have time to go see her when she's doing her performances. And it's so much so now that I'm working Sundays, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't go. But if she would have it like on a Saturday or a Friday, I could move some things around to go and see her.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And it's inexpensive. She does a great job out there. She looks amazing. She talks about having to do the losing 13 pounds.
Yeah.
Because she wants to look her best when she's out there. Nice green outfit this past weekend. She's gonna be wearing green again for St. Patrick's Day. Right now I'm looking at Schefter's feed, Adam Schefter from ESPN, talking about the last free agents that have been signed within the past hour or so. Dearness Johnston, running back, is returning to the Jaguars. Free agent stud Shaq Barrett is leaving the Bucks and going to the Miami Dolphins on a 1-year deal for $9 million. Says that the Falcons are signing former Bears wide receiver Darnell Mooney to a 3-year, $39 million deal, including $26 million guaranteed. Also within the hour, the Bills signed Nyheim Hines or agreed to terms, the running back, for a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. Tight end Mike Gesicki is going to the Bengals. He was formerly with the Dolphins, and then he went to the Patriots. He's now with the Bengals. Other names, former Eagles quarterback, former Falcons quarterback Marcus Mariota signing with the Washington Commanders on a 1-year deal. So now you have Marcus Mariota and Sam Howell competing for QB1 honors over there. Aaron Jones, the running back, who I got to meet in California during Super Bowl Radio Row a couple years ago, signed a 1-year, $7 million deal with the Minnesota Vikings. So again, the last time we saw him as Cowboy fans, he was running up and down the field at Jerry World. He's no longer with the Packers. Aaron Jones on the move. Free agent kicker Brandon McManus signed a 1-year deal with the Commanders as well. Commanders making some moves. Joe Mixon, again, running back, former Pro Bowler, traded to the Houston Texans. Now, as far as who's what the Texans gave up is still not sure. Running back Zach Moss, who the Cowboys said too expensive for us, signed a 2-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts. And again, Tony Pollard is gone. Tony Pollard is now with the Tennessee Titans. So lots of movement going on. None of it involving the Dallas Cowboys. It's okay. We could all cheer for the Texans next year.
Yeah, man.
That'll be my Santa team.
I know some places here in town that have Texas gear.
Yeah.
Dirt cheap, bro. Dirt cheap. Might go pick me up a hat or something.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. Again, don't forget to vote in our Baddie Brackets. Tomorrow is my birthday. I say that I'm going to be here, but if we have a surprise coast tomorrow, you shall see. I want to go to SeaWorld.
All right.
Maybe I'll just do the show and just head on out to SeaWorld from there.
It's up to you. Just let me know.
We're literally down the street.
Exactly. Exactly. Literally down the street.
So very, very nice. Again, my last day on Earth as a 46-year-old, be 47 tomorrow. 47 for the second time because I thought I was 47 all year last year.
Yeah.
But everyone have a fantastic day. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace.
All right. See you guys later. Peace.